slanging the thousands of black died in the hurricane. It's made in America, made in America.
Let's go.
Made in America. Crack babies, black slavery and HIV entered in the late 80s. Made in America, made in
This one right here.
Made in America, made in America.
That's a big fire. So we taking out the Beauty and the Beast, man. And I still ain't got a name for this thing yet. Yes, sir. Got bugs all over my my visor. That's one thing I do need to do tonight is purchase a tinted visor. Just got to get one that's not going to need to be changed at night, because if I do want to ride at night, I don't want to have to switch it out. It is super windy out today. Hey. I mean, it's so windy. It's crazy. Where I want to go? Where we want to go? Yeah, I mean, it is so windy, dude. That wind just like blew me away from the truck. We're gonna have to reevaluate. We're gonna have to reevaluate where the hell we going. Gross. Apparently. My bad, guys. I got my Bluetooth on, so I'm listening to a podcast, and I'm just like, this is crazy. Man, I was gonna go hit the highway and like burn the highway, man, but it is freaking crazy windy, dude. It's insane. I don't know if people are trying to go out tonight or what, but today would definitely be a better day. Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a nice day out, man. So we're gonna head over to this park because this park has some really. It's got a really nice, lot of space out there. Park up. Talk about what we got next for this thing, man. I've been toying around with the idea of going GP shift on this. I was gonna, man, like, I slept bad on my shoulder or something. Like, my right shoulder is like killing me. My right shoulder is killing me, man. And shout out to the subscribers, man. Shout out to some of the subscribers who actually give me some really good tips on dealing with this bike. There was quite a few people that know. Well, there's one in particular. Got to find his name so I can put it up there. But it was somebody who had posted up and told me, hey, whenever you're shifting, you don't have to keep shifting. You don't have to shift and let off the gas like you would do, like, you know, like when you're normally clutching. And because I had to tend to, when I'm using the quick shifter, to stop the deceleration as I'm going to the next gear. And he's like, no, you don't have to do that. Just literally just shift. Keep your keep your hand on the throttle and shift. And I had been doing it opposite, like normal, like when you actually clutch and shift. Yes, sir. And it behaves properly. It behaves so good. Man, it's so windy, dude. The wind right here is blowing me to the left. Make it over here. I want to make sure that the GoPro is still hanging on and doing what it's supposed to do. everywhere. Yeah, it's a nice park over here, Natural Reserve Park. Got a lot of deer and stuff out here. Now, when I had my one wheel, I would come over here all the time because it's such a nice park to be at. Especially with the one wheel, there's a lot of nice roads out here, some trails out here. So I would always tear it up out here with the one wheel. I guess I could have went over there too, but oh, they had this blocked off. I was gonna go over there. Lots of oh, they got the backside open over there. Yes, sir. So, man, let me have to get some. Let me get some shots real quick. Get some shots real quick. It's looking good. It's looking damn good, man. So, the bike is coming along pretty well. I'm still undecided if I'm going to change the green on the rims. I kind of like the little green on there. Like I said, it matches with the tail end that I left on the tail. I don't mind it at all. What I kind of would like it more if it was reflective. So I'm kind of looking to see if there's more like reflective tape that I can use to make it a little more functional, in my opinion. Right? I want it to be a little more functional. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I want to put some actual reflective rim tape on there. I think it would be a little more functional. So I'm still trying to decide if that's what I'm going to do or not. But I mean, other than that, the only other major thing that we got going is next Friday we will be getting the bike. The bike will be getting the exhaust put on. Gotta use exhaust online. A guy was I think he was getting like a brand new system. So he got rid of his Voodoo. What is it? His Voodoo headers, and he had a mid pipe put on there. And then I'm gonna attach that. They're gonna take all the old one off. They're gonna attach it to the new slip-on, to the M4 slip-on, and that's gonna be our full setup until maybe later if I decide to get, go with a full big name brand like the Errata or something like that. The Errata is definitely what I'm looking forward to. Either that or just a full titanium M4 exhaust setup. I don't know, it depends. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So next week it's getting put on, next Friday. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Other than that, we're just gonna be doing a few more things like off the rip. The next thing is going to be the air filter, and I'm still looking into deciding if we're gonna do the 520 conversion. And the reason being is because I was kind of on the fence about the 520 conversion, but from what I've been seeing, it actually helps a lot. And I'm not necessarily looking to wait so long and try to max out the top end speed. So when you're roll racing and stuff, a lot of people, they don't mind having that extra, waiting till they get to that full power band at the top. I don't really care too much for that per se. I simply just want to have a little more lower end grunt. It's got plenty, honestly, but in terms of just doing that mod, I'm gonna do it somewhat close to factory, but just having that little bit of bottom end, a little more bottom end. The only thing I'm worried about with that is the increased pickup of the front wheel. So I got some buddies that have ZX10s and stuff like that, and they've done it, and they said, yeah, it definitely is gonna be easier to pick up in the lower end gears. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just trying my best to get used to the bike for now. So I'm not in a big rush to do the 520 conversion, but definitely need to get the air filter in there. Stacks are on the horizon as well. I was kind of deciding if I wanted to do stacks with the air filter and then just get it dyno tuned with the exhaust, and then kind of be there for now until I can change the gearing later. I figured if I change the gearing, it doesn't need to really necessarily be dyno tuned for the gearing change. That's just my opinion. I don't think that is necessary if we're just doing the gearing, because it's just gearing. But I'll have to ask around, but I don't think it's necessary for me to get the bike dyno tuned with the 520 conversion. I don't think it's necessary at all. But we're gonna go in and also see if they can lower the forks about 1.5 inches or so when I go get the exhaust. See if they can do that, get it all buttoned back up. But so like I said, exhaust first, and then we're gonna be working on piecing together. Definitely gonna get the air filter, that's for sure. things like that. I'm gonna drop into the bike, just like the exhaust. I'm not gonna hold on to I'm not gonna be on the exhaust for so long before I get it dyno tuned. So I just kind of want it on there. I'll deal with the check engine light until it gets flashed off. But for sure, man, I am looking forward to seeing how it reacts with the new air filter and the full exhaust, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, I am pretty certain that I want to do the stacks, so I'm not sure which ones I'm going to do, whether it's going to be turn 13s or the dimple stacks from Carbon Smith. Definitely tell you which ones are not going on there, and that's the Stinger. I ain't doing the Stingers for now. Them shits is way too fucking expensive, so until later on when I really want to fine tune it, I won't be doing any of that, but we're definitely gonna throw some nice stacks in there and kind of see if it was worth the $300. I just kind of want to see how the $300 stacks are gonna turn out before I think of doing something like Stingers. But yeah, man, other than that, man, this thing looks really good. It moves really good, and I'm getting more and more comfortable on it, but I'm still respecting the power of this bike, man. It's got so much power. Even when we're out riding with the fellas in the meets, man, like, one thing people do need to understand is definitely don't underestimate the power of motorcycles, man. I ride with a lot of guys that got 600s. They're rolling around 600s. I got a guy in an R7 that rides a lot in the group. He's very new with his R7, but a lot of the guys with the 600s, man, they surprise the shit out of me a lot, especially when we start getting to roll, man, when we start rolling, because they are very, very fast. They're really, really fast. So I think the consensus from those guys is that they don't necessarily, they want 1000cc, but they're not necessarily like begging for it or feel like they actually need it. And for the type of riding that most of them do, honestly, 600 in that mid range is good enough for the street. Honestly, having 1000 is more, in my opinion, more for like bragging rights or just being able to be like, I can have 1000, a liter bike. Is it I mean, it's not really necessarily needed at all. Like I said, a lot of the guys I roll with got R6s, so I mean, and it's perfect for the street, man. It's perfect for the street. So if you're on the fence about getting a 600 or 1000, definitely don't be, man. Don't be on the fence, man. Get something, ride it, and enjoy it. I think this bike really shines on the freeway. When you're doing roll racing and things like that, this is what sets this bike apart from the smaller bikes, in my opinion. Like I said, when we get to it on the freeway, I usually tend to stay in the back when we're riding in these groups. I try to tend to stay in the back. But when it's time to, when they're egging me on, they're like, hey, like, we want to see what we can do against 1000. Once we take off, they're very, very, very quick on that second to third gear, man. Like, that second to third gear, fourth gear, like, they're very, very quick. It's like they're beating you until the power just kicks in, man, on this 1000cc. There's no replacement for displacement, and this thing just eats. And then that's, you can definitely tell the difference between the 1000 and the 600. But and you just fly right past them, and it's like, but 600s are plenty fast, man. I mean, I'm letting off the throttle way over the speed limit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you don't plan to ride around 150 plus miles an hour, you really don't need 1000, honestly, man. But I love it. I'm glad I went with it. Like I said, I've ridden plenty of bikes in the past, and I've gotten a chance to really
decide what I think is worth it and what is not. And though 1000cc is not necessary, it is for me right now. It is what it is. Ooh. I think I'm gonna call this bad boy Jabberwock. I think I'm gonna call him Jabberwock. You know? I think it might get a name by Friday, man, that's for sure. I gotta hear how it sounds after it gets the exhaust on there, but I'm thinking Jabberwock. Ooh. Yeah, I like how it sounds, man, with the slip-on. Now, I think when I do get them to connect it, I'm gonna ask him to try his best not to have to weld the slip-on to the mid-pipe. I'm gonna have to ask him not to, simply because the reason being is that it's possible down the line I might go to an SC project or something, you know, and it'd be so much easier if I can just change the slip-on because I already have a full exhaust at that point. But I don't know, it just depends though, man. It just depends. We'll see. We'll definitely see, but I'm happy with this thing, man. No cops have messed with me yet with my fender eliminator quite yet. Still got the plate underneath there. Everything looks cleaned up, looks so much better in my opinion. So much better. But yeah, let's get back on the road, man. Let's get back on the road, baby. Got my fringes on. Got my gear on, man. Ooh. Yeah, boy. Let me see if I can got my fringes on. Got my fringes on. What's up? There we go. Oh yeah, and for you guys that aren't using a stabilizer, I don't even know where that ball just came from. For you guys that's not using a stabilizer, you better use the stabilizer, man, on your freaking phone, because if you don't, it's gonna mess up your entire camera system. It's gonna mess up your camera system on your phone.